Welcome to this topic video on JavaScript Fetch API. So we're going to talk about modern Ajax and remind you that now we're talking about a JavaScript DOM API. So now we're talking about in the browser making requests, HTTP requests. So what's this thing called Ajax? We're going to figure that out. Okay, first of all, there's example codes that show all these examples, and it includes a server, which we need to demonstrate it. A nice article with history, so sometimes you don't want history, you just want to know how to use this stuff, is this article from CSS Tricks. If you don't want history, go to the MDN article. That's a good article. And for details, see the MDN fetch reference. In addition, we need to know a bit about the response object. The nice thing is, if you've been taking this class and going through these videos, you'll see that this interface is like the interface that we used in Node to make HTTP requests in code, and that is intentional. We used a package named Node Fetch that based its interface upon this fetch interface, the one we get in the browser. Now, where you'll hear people say Ajax, what does it mean? Ajax stands for Asynchronous JavaScript in XML. Huh? Asynchronous JavaScript? Yeah, we know how to do that. We've been doing asynchronous JavaScript. This is a historic term, okay? With Ajax, web applications can send data to and receive from a server asynchronously in the background without interfering with the display and behavior of an existing page. Yeah, this was a very new thing, and it led to the Web 2.0 or whatever one of those numbers is. It was a major advance, okay? We're used to this. This is how all our web apps function, okay? So let's understand, okay? This is how all web applications that work with the server use some form of Ajax, okay? The original Ajax command, okay, XML HTTP request, okay, so we see it's letting us make a request, was standardized in 2006, okay? We're going to be using the modern version called Fetch, okay? Fetch is really widely supported, okay? If you have to support some old browser out there, they have software called polyfills, okay? Little pieces of JavaScript that you can use to help you out, okay? But it's well supported now, okay? One thing, though, it's not XML anymore, okay? The XML, for Extensible Markup Language, is a markup language that looks a lot like HTML, but you get to define the tags and attributes, okay? XML is significantly more complex, particularly when it comes to parsing it, okay? More work to parse it and understand it, okay? And that's particularly compared to JSON, okay? Hence, JSON is the primary thing that we transfer back and forth when, okay, with Ajax, okay, not XML. However, Ajag doesn't sound as cool as Ajax, okay? And we might not even call it by Ajax hardly anymore because it's such a normal part of writing a web app. Okay. So using this thing, we need a server, okay? So I'm going to be running a server, okay? Got it up and running. So I'm going to use my Quid server for these demos, okay? And then pack it into the zip, okay? It's only got two APIs because it's a minimal example. Get gets all the questions from my quiz server in JSON format, okay? Add lets us add a question, a multiple choice question, to the database. And by database, I really mean just a file that we read in. Okay, so what does it look like? Really, Professor? That's it? Yeah, minimal, okay? We took out, we don't have any error checking and things like that in here. And we don't have any stuff to prevent other people from adding questions. This is an open interface, which, of course, is not suitable for deployment in the web, but for demonstrating this, it's fine. So here we have a get, which returns JSON. We have a post that accepts JSON, so hence the middleware here. Okay, and it will return the what we posted. Okay, so that's the idea. That's the server. Now, where are the example files? Well, we don't want to get caught up with any particular front-end library. So what I did was I put all the example files in this public directory. Okay, simple get2, sample fetch post, sample fetch post 2, error things. Each one of these is going to have and make a fetch command, usually when I click a button. Okay, so let's take a look. The simplest get, so this is, okay, the JavaScript within, oh, let's just take a look. Okay, simple get 1. Okay, simple get 1. HTML. Okay, we've got, what are we going to do? The button, get it. Okay, open the developer tool console to see more information. Okay, we're going to go blah, blah, blah. This is our script, which is going to get where we're going to ID. We're going to put out the info. What are we going to do? Window on load. So we, okay, get the button, add event listener, click. Okay, get it. Fetch. All queues. Okay, so that's where we're going to be asking for it from. Then function response info PO. So we're going to take the response, we're going to put it into the info paragraph, inner HTML, and then console log it. Okay, so let's go and get it. Okay, so look here, we show that we can go get all the JSON in my JSON previewer. Now we need simple get one.html. Okay, and I call it sample fetch one. So open up the developer's console. Okay, we don't need network. Doesn't hurt to look at the network too, though. Okay, now we're going to look at, we're going to watch the console. Okay, blah, 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 blah. Let's get rid of this excess stuff. Okay, now we're going to click get it. Oh, object response. So whatever we got was some kind of object. Oh, it's a response object. Body, readable stream. Oh, we didn't get the contents back. It's some kind of streamy thing. Oh, yeah. Okay. So that's our simplest get. Okay. And we see we got a response object back without the body being processed. Okay. Because we saw before we had to do this with our other interface. Okay. So what we're going to do in this second simple get, okay, it returns a promise. Okay, the response will be a response promise. Okay, and then we're going to take the response and ask for the JSON in the body. Oh, then I'm going to use that part to fill in my inner HTML, but this is an object. I don't think this is going to show me much. Okay, then over here, I'm going to do my little trick where I JSON stringify the data. A little escaping, because this is going to be stringified data and such like that that has some HTML markup in it because it was a question about HTML. Okay, but don't worry about that too much. So let's go take a look at that one. Simple get 2. Okay. Get it. Open up the developer console to see more. Raw information, JSON, string information. Now this is when we try and process the body. Oh, we get a nice object. Okay. It's got an array full of my questions. Oh, I see. Oh, and then I stringify the information. So if I just tried to show that thing, doesn't really turn it into much of a string. It just says object, object. So one of my quick and easy ways to display things is I take whatever I get that's in JSON, stringify it, and print it out. Okay. I had to do the escape thing because I have things like this in there. Okay, so I did some escaping. Okay, but no worries. That's not something to get too hung up about. Okay, so we're able to get the response. Then we do another then to get with the response JSON to get at the results of the JSON. Gotcha. Same interface that we use when we were making requests from the server side, node fetch. Good. Okay. What about sending data? We're going to use this post method for sending data. Okay. We'll be sending JSON, so we need to indicate that in the header. Okay, and we need to specify the message body. Okay. Okay, so here we go. We're going to add a question. Method post. Header, content type. Oh, okay. JSON stringify. I'm going to add my new question by sending an object that has a Q equal to Q. Okay. Let's go take a look at this one. So we can see the actual question that we're, okay. Sample fetch post. Post it. Ah, here's my question. Who's on first? Choices who, what, I don't know. Okay, answer who. Okay. Here's the posting. Okay, then we're going to check the status code and all sorts of good stuff in here. Okay, let's try it. And I think this one, instead of simple get, I called it sample. Sample fetch. Nope. What do we call it? It's called sample fetch post. Okay. You can look at what's happening with the network. Okay. So we just got that. Okay. Now, if we go post it, oh, we posted to add queue. Okay. We can see in the, let's look at the request headers, content type, oops, where is it? Content type application JSON. We can see in the request, we gave it this question object with choices, with a question. We can see how the payload looked. Okay. And we can see the response. Okay. Oh, it sent us back what we did just to prove that we got what we sent. Ah, okay. Makes sense. Not too hard if you understand promises and if you understand HTML and HTTP and HTTP methods. Nice. Okay. Now here we're actually going to take that data back and log it. So let's look at the second example. Sample fetch post 2. Okay. Now we're going to post it. Oh, here's a different question. Will the wind blow today? Dismiss. All right. More examples. Error handling. Dealing with errors. There are a lot of ways that we can run into errors when fetching across the network. Request times out, a non-existent server, a bad IP address. Oh. Bad URL path, not found errors, internal server errors, and more. Okay. There's two really different forms, okay, of problems that we can see. Okay, so here's error get. Okay, I'm going to make a request to a path that doesn't exist on the server. Okay, so error get 1. Okay, I gotta click on get it, and let's go see what happens on the debug console. Uncaught in promise syntax error. JSON parse expected a character with blah blah blah. Oh, why are we getting that? Why are we getting that? Let's check the network. Okay, we made a request for all QSS. Okay, the response, oh, was cannot get all Qs. Oh, so we got an error message back. Okay, we got an error message back. Response, preview, cannot get. Oh, and so what happened is we didn't pay attention to the status, and then we tried to read this. Oh, yeah, we tried to read this right here as JSON. Okay, we said then response. Oh, we need to pay attention to the response to see if it's okay. Okay, any good response. Remember, besides 200 class responses, 300 class responses are usually when you have things that are been cached. Those count as okay. Okay, so if we get any response that's okay, then we can go on and process the promise. Okay, and get the JSON. Otherwise, we should return a rejected promise, and that's what this does here. Okay, so then we can handle the good case with a then and catch the bad case with a catch statement. Oh, I see. Okay, I like this style because we can then use the nice promise-based stuff of then and catch rather than doing something weird in here. Okay, and I got this from technique on the web. Okay, let's try error get 2. Okay, this time we paid attention, looked at the status code, and printed that out. Ah, so we went out this way. Console log something bad. Info paragraph 2 inner HTML equals the message. Ah, got it. Okay. Why didn't this throw a catch? Okay. Why didn't this just throw something? Because the server returned to us. Okay. The server told us we had an error. Oh. What happens if we try a bad IP address? Okay. So this is error get 3. So get it. Oh, notice we had a bit of a delay. This is very different. Network type error. Network error when attempting to fetch resource. Oh, so this case, we never got a status, we never got something back. Okay, we never got a response at all. Okay, so this promise, this then was never taken. We went down to here. Okay, something bad. Okay, this message that we printed out. Okay, network error, that came from the browser. Okay, saying we never got a response. Okay, network error when tempting. Okay, that's a completely different class of error. Okay, the server wasn't there. Okay. Now, there's another set of issues that come up with fetch, something called that we have to be careful with, and that's why we started with fetches from the server side, because it's a little bit more complicated from the browser. Okay, there's something called cross-origin resource sharing. Okay, or CORS for short. Okay, this is when a web application executes a cross-origin request when it requests a resource that has a different origin, domain, or protocol from its own. Okay, you're asking for stuff from someplace else, a different website. Okay, let's look at the picture up close. View image. Okay, so here's where we get the page from. We do a get and we get the main page. Okay, when we go and ask for like the CSS back from that same server or images from that same server, that's called a same origin request. And those are always allowed by the browser. Okay, when we ask for something from a different web server, okay, so here's an image or something from domain.-b rather than domain A, this is a cross-origin request. Okay, these come under control by CORS policy. Okay. For security reasons, browsers restrict cross-origin HTTP requests initiated from scripts. Okay. So they restrict it. Browsers do this. Okay. Fetch follows the same origin policy. This means a web application using the APIs can only request resources from the same origin. Okay. This is going to come up when we're doing development where we have our web app, say in React or Vue, and we have our server too. Okay. Unless the response from other origins include the right CORS header. Do you have an example, Professor? Yes, I do. Okay. Let's go visit this website. Okay. This is tours for an imaginary tour company. Okay. So I can go out here. Okay. I am making a direct call to this website asking for some JSON data. Okay. Here's some JSON data. Oh, okay. Now, here's another website that has a year's worth of some windsurfing logs. Okay. Make a request over, oops. Oh, the link underneath is an error. Okay, so let's go directly to that. See. Okay, so this is all these sailing log things. We can go to both these websites directly and get this JSON information. No problem. Okay. Now, we're going to try fetching this stuff. Okay. We're going to try fetching this stuff from a page. So I need external fetch. .html. Oops. Oh, wasn't in public. Okay. So we have these two different sites. Okay. Let's try getting something from, okay. So now I loaded this file, not from one of those servers, either of those servers, okay, but from my file system. Okay. I'm going to go and try talking. Okay, let me bring this up. We'll watch the console, what's happening here. I'm going to try getting some JSON from a cooperating site. Oh, look at that. This was from my tour site. I was able to get all sorts of stuff out of it. Bump and jump windsurfing in the South Bay, blah, blah, blah. Now, let's look at a different site. Get JSON. Cross-origin request blocked. Same origin policy disallows reading the resource. Huh? We were able to get it directly. We were able to get this stuff directly. Oh, but here, not there. Here, I have an internal script that I got from a different website, namely my own computer, that's trying to get at it, okay? So it's a different origin than my file system. Oh, that's why it was hard for us to do examples with fetch right away. Oh, because we could do it with a server running on our own machine, but other servers, it's got some issues. Well, why did it work with this? Good question. Okay. Okay, so this is showing more of the code of external fetch. Okay, cooperating site, we saw that. Non-cooperating site. How to fix? Only the server that owns the cross-origin resource can fix this issue. Okay, and only if it doesn't cause them a security issue. Okay, the page making the fetch has no control over this for security purposes. So we have to do something to the server. Okay, the browser implements the controls. Okay, but the server is the one that can loosen up the controls. Okay, so how did I do it? Oh, here is in the server that I deployed. Okay, I said get tours. Okay, to allow cores, cross-origin resource sharing. Access control, allow origin star, meaning any origin. Okay, access control, allow headers, origin, blah, 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 blah. Okay. So we have to then provide the right headers. Okay. It's not that the call didn't go out. Okay. It's not that the call didn't go out. The call went out. Okay. The browser is not going to let us see the results. Okay. This is a security feature to avoid cross-site scripting attacks. So be aware, because it can bite us when we're trying to do our development, where we use one server as our development server for our app, and then we have another server representing our server, our server. Okay, talk to you later. Bye-bye.